Welcome to another episode of DIOTALK. I'm Dio. Let's talk. As of now, I got two special guests. One will appear in a couple of minutes. But ladies and gentlemen, give a warm welcome to Nick Espinosa and from Aquanomics, Steven Ansaldi. Welcome to the show, brothers. How are you doing?
What up? Welcome.
So as we wait for one of our guests, we started talking about Philly cheesesteaks, and today's episode is gun control. So we started off talking about Philly cheesesteak. Then my brother here, Nick, was talking about the beautiful history of Philadelphia and how it's lost in transition due to the crime rate. And he had a beautiful segue in where we were talking about Chicago and where it's also has a beautiful history, but due to the crime rate is lost, it's also lost in transition. So, Nick, just picking up for where you left off, what's your thoughts on that?
So, as I was saying, like, it's just that these two cities alone, Philly, Chicago, beautiful cities, great things you can do in the cities. And, like, it's beautiful. I'm Philly born and raised. You dig what I'm saying? Been in Chicago, beautiful city. I love the landscape of it. I love the buildings you see and everything. Very beautiful. But the thing is, see, the crime rate, what I mean by the crime rate, it's just like all you hear is crime.
Mm-hmm.
Same thing in Philly, crime. It's to the point where you forget about the good stuff in these cities. Like, people know we got in Philly, we got the Rocky Steps.
Yeah.
That's classic, right? That's classic. People come
it's known from that. It's known from that. If you don't know anything else, you know that.
Yeah, like Love Park. People love Park, but people come all over the world just to see certain things in Philadelphia that you wouldn't think they do. Philadelphia's history, like Philly in general, started everything for the United States to what it is today. Overall, people don't realize that. Same thing with Chicago. The Chicago crime rate wasn't there. People noticed, like, yo, look at this. It was great historic meetings that took place in Chicago with Farrakhan, Ice Cube, Common, where they got together and like, yo, let's stop the bullshit. Let's try to get along and shit like that, whatever the case may be. There's a lot of great history in these cities that is overlooked because the moment you say something, well, crime rate over here is this.
Yeah, like
crime rate over here is that.
Yeah, like so it's almost crazy. like Chicago, they call it Chirac, right? Like it's almost like they glorify the negative things, right? Like they're proud for that. They take pride in that rather than, actually see what's going on. You're damaging your community, your surroundings. And the same thing with Philly. Like there's a lot of
Philadelphia.
There's a lot of beautiful things about Philadelphia. I love going there almost every summer with my family to the Love Park, to the famous, Philly cheesesteaks parts of it and just enjoying the area. But it's a crime. And it's like they take pride in having that negative atmosphere, like and rappers and musicians, they tend to gravitate to that shit and you're killing the history, like you said.
Yeah, and I get it, like with certain rappers, like it's their truth. I get it because it's what you had to go through. Yeah, I mean, that's like people when they say Chirac, some people don't glorify it strictly as Chirac. Some people say that because it's like the Warzone in Iraq, how Iraq was.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's why they call it, because that's what it is. Like I got brothers that did 2 tours in Iraq, and trust me, it's not easy to even get through that shit. So when they say Chicago's like that, that's just a little crazy. You know what I mean? Same thing with Philadelphia.
Here we are. You live on?
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Mr. Green.
Mr.
How
Green,
you doing, brother? Welcome to the show.
Guys.
We started live without you, talking about some cool topics. Welcome to the show once again. If anybody knows, him from What Triggered You on Instagram. Educating the public on gun safety. You already know. Meet all the special guests, Steve and Nick. Steve.
How you doing, bro?
What's going on?
Good, guys.
Good. So we're basically, to give you an update, we're basically talking about the gun violence and Philly. Nick is a native from Philly, and the war zone that's going on in Chirac, was in Chicago.
Gotcha.
Nick, sorry to interrupt you. You may continue.
So no, what I was basically saying, like the same concept about sometimes where people just say Chirac, they don't just say it because it's glorified, but they say it because some people know what it was like in Iraq.
Yeah.
I mean, the stories you heard, and like I said before, I had brothers that served this country, did 2 tours in Iraq, some did 3. I done heard the craziest stories, brothers that was sleeping on animals or cots and stuff like that. It's insane. So, and the same thing applies for Philadelphia. You know, some people say it because, no, that's all it is right now. It's just killing, 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 killing. Some people glorify it. There's others that's like, man, no, this is Philadelphia. It's very like every day you hear somebody getting shot or someone's killed. You know what I mean? It's like every other day somebody dies.
Facts. So as you know, I gathered you guys here today. We'll talk about a little bit about gun control. We started off about talking about the violence. Well, we first started off talking about Philly cheesesteaks, but right, and then we did an amazing segue.
Can't mention Philly without the cheesesteak.
Word.
Word.
We did amazing.
Go north for a cheesesteak. Go north. Go north for a cheesesteak. I'm telling you, you won't be disappointed. Go north. Don't get me wrong. Pasagenos is okay. I'm not gonna say they trash. I'm gonna tell you they're okay. But go north, get a dirty cheesesteak. You won't be disappointed.
Yes.
All right. Well, you know your hookup for the cheesesteak now. So let's talk about a little bit. The reason I asked you guys to join is talk about a little bit on gun control, right? I know each individual yourself have gun control, minus Mr. Steven at the moment. So I guess my first question is, what got you involved wanting to have a firearm, own a firearm?
You talking to me?
Nick or Vaughn, whichever one wants to go.
Vaughn.
I think Vaughn just went out.
He's having technical issues. Anyway,
okay.
Nick, what's going on?
Go?
Yeah.
All right. So for me to own a firearm, like first and foremost, me owning a firearm is a hobby. I love going to the gun range. I love shooting. You know, I like target practice and everything like that. I used to work law enforcement as well, but also my second reason is just for self-defense. Now, D.I.O, you already know. I had an incident earlier this summer. I got a bullet in my head that's going to stay in my head. Wow. I had to shoot somebody in self-defense. Over something pathetic.
Oh wow!
It could have been worse, but you know, thank God I'm still here. And truth be told, if I didn't have my gun, I probably wouldn't be. You know what I'm saying? So I'm blessed for that, and thank God for that. So my other reason is strictly just self-defense, because in today's world, even in non-crime ridden cities, this world is getting crazier as we speak, you know? So I'd rather have something to protect me from the unexpected. Even though I'm always going to try to handle the situation differently, but if I have no choice but to use my firearm, then I definitely use it. You know, so that's my reason for gun owning. And also, I got 2 daughters. So I want to be on my Martin Lawrence and Will Smith. Shitty, shitty, bang, bang. But no, in all seriousness, like I also want to teach my daughters how to hold a firearm, use it and everything, so they don't have nothing to be crazy with. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Thank you for sharing that story, man. Health-wise, I hope you're okay, brother.
Close the door.
You good there, bro?
Sorry, guys, my daughter entered the room.
It's all good.
Oh, good.
I was like,
So Steven, share your story. I know you've been going through some issues now, trying to get your firearm down there in Florida. How's it been?
Nothing. How do I say it? It hasn't been a good experience for me personally because I mean I got denied. I'm being denied for something that happened to me as a child that I have no control out of. I can't control what happened. I don't even know what was said, what was done. So I applied for because over here you have to do the whole background check and stuff. And 3 times I've been denied, and I didn't know why until I got a letter from the I guess the FBI background checks. That's what it is.
Mm-hmm.
They denied me for something when I was just maybe in 3rd grade.
3rd grade.
Yeah. So yeah, the 3rd grade exactly. So so that's holding me back, and for me to take care of this, I have to go back to Jersey to get it cleared. So I live in Florida, and I have to go back to Jersey to take care of it, and I'm stuck right now. I am stuck. So
Are you trying to go to carrier's permit, or you're just trying to purchase the firearm?
I was just trying to purchase the firearm just to have it at the house.
And you have a Florida license?
I have a Florida license. I'm not a convicted felon or anything like that. But this all goes back to when I was a kid, like in 3rd grade. Apparently, things were said that I'm not aware of, because you're a kid,
Right.
So basically, he's being judged for something he was a child that he had no control over.
Right.
Back then, when you were how do I put it? When you were a child and you're a little excited, and you're just jumping and whatnot, the way they would handle situations like that with children who are active is different than when they will handle them now. So he basically is suffering through consequences that he has basically nothing to do. I'm not going to enter the details on it.
Right.
That's his
Personal.
discretion. Yeah.
Right.
But that's basically the story.
Yeah.
I'm not sure. I'm not sure if you guys have any advice to help him out. But my thing is, like I told you, and when we talked, to get like a second evaluation. But it's like it's almost is my question is like, is it worth it? Because you're gonna spend a quite lump sum of money to get that.
Well, there's certain legal services. You could Google it. That are for individuals, like for gun advocates and everything like that. Self-defense advocates, like they offer certain programs that can help you figure out the best solution to get over certain humps.
Mm-hmm.
I know in PA they have that guy that used to work. He had a shop down on Spring Garden. He was an NRA guy and everything. He'll give you every bit of information. He gave me a whole bunch of information years ago, before I even got my gun license. And there's a lot of stuff. You should go to one of the gun shops or one of them people that look like they know exactly what they're talking about, and they probably could point you in the right direction. I know there are services that can sit there and help you with that. Like you ever heard of legal aid before?
Yeah, I've heard of that.
Yeah, so a similar service like that, but for gun advocates to help you clear certain things and get things rolling. Like similar service that I know it got to be a service down in Florida like that too.
NRA should be able to help you too. You should reach out to NRA and let them know what's going on with your claim when you're trying to get your purchasing permit in Florida. I thought Florida was like one of the most lenient states with purchasing, especially if you already have a Florida ID, I'm not sure of how they background check is ran, but I know up here, you definitely get flagged up here, especially because the offense that you have was in New Jersey. But Florida is usually a real lenient state when it comes to purchasing a firearm. All you gotta do is walk in there with an ID, basically, and purchase a firearm.
And that's what I did. That's exactly what I did. But there's a 5-day cool down period, I guess. That's what they call it, 5 days.
Right.
And they run your background, whatever. And if I didn't call the guy to check up on my background, I would have never known. He was like, "Oh, you got flagged. Maybe you need to go down and go get your fingerprints done." So I went. I got my fingerprints done at the county jail. And I'm sorry, that's the third time around. The second time, it all happened.
You really want your gun license?
It all happened during COVID.
Right.
Everything was shutting down. And so when it started clearing up a little bit, that's when I went back. I said, "Hey, listen, couldn't get my fingerprints done." He's like, "Oh, you can go down to the county jail. They'll do it for you." So I went down there and I sent it. Got it done that same day. Went back to him and I gave him the papers and stuff. Ran it back. Still got denied. It's like, well,
you gotta remember too. Every state governs itself, so it's probably something different with Florida.
Right.
Something different. Because I that's one thing I learned with all these states. I'm like, man, one thing is this in this state, the other thing is that in that state, and you just like, yo, what the hell? Like, so that could be playing a big major factor in it too.
Yeah.
But you can, like I said, hit the NRA person or someone that knows knowledge of it, and you get Jersey in the horn, like, yo, fix this. You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah.
ASAP.
ASAP. I mean, basically, you just took away my gun rights. You know what I'm saying? So it's not like, I'm a bad guy or anything like that.
And you wasn't convicted of anything, right?
No. That. It all goes back to New Jersey. So I remember as a kid, I was only there to fourth grade. I came over here for 5th grade.
There's something as a child, it still carries on now that you're an adult.
Oh, yeah.
It doesn't because you was a juvenile. So
right.
Yeah,
where most cases it shouldn't even be on your record.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that should be sealed, right?
Right. It should be sealed. Exactly.
Especially
if you wasn't convicted of anything.
Yeah. Now, Vaughn, the last time we talked a while back. I had you on episode 7. If anybody is watching to go see. Last time we agreed upon that, like, it's not the gun the problem. It's the person behind the gun.
Right.
Right. Now we started the conversation with the Chirac and Philly and the violence going on. Like, I'm asking you guys now, how much percentage do you think that statement is true? Like, is it in fact not the problem, the guns that we're having? It's in fact the people who are pulling the trigger.
Well, you got to look at the crimes in those areas too, and who was committing those crimes, what age bracket of people are committing those crimes, and in what areas. So most of the crimes that's happening in Chicago and in Philly, there's a specific age bracket of people that are committing these crimes in a certain area. So when you go to an urban area, the crime rate is going to be higher. And there's a deeper reasoning why the crime rate is higher in the cities than it is in the suburban area or in the rural area. And I don't have enough time to go into that, but
but give your opinion. I think we all would love to know the people who watch or hear will love to know, just to get the different point of views.
Right. My opinion is just everybody is confined into one speech.
Facts.
opportunities. I'm big on not making excuses. So I feel like we are all capable to come out of our situation and our environment that we're in. The opportunity. That's the key word. The opportunity. Are we taught a certain way? Yes. And that plays a big factor on how we operate in our community that we're in. I'm from Jersey City. I'm from a bad block in Jersey City. I never committed to the street life or to doing anything like that. I did security, and now I'm in a higher form of security right now. I'm not a cop, but I'm in a higher form of security. And, I made it out, and once I made it out and I'm in kind of a suburban area now I got my guns. I chose not to get it when I was in those areas because I know what can happen. Like, I know that if I get pushed a certain way, not me in particular.
It's triggering and tempting.
It's triggering and tempting. Not me in particular.
Yeah.
I have a little bit more self-control. I feel I have a lot more self-control. But it's real easy to just, go out there and react and then think about the consequences afterwards.
Yeah.
So
they'll put you in they'll force you into this position.
Compromise.
Yeah.
Compromise a situation that you don't want to be in, that you shouldn't be in. Not to say that people in the city shouldn't be allowed to have or purchase firearms, because I feel like everyone should be able to protect themselves. And I also feel that we should have laws to protect the legal gun owners that go out to purchase their guns legally in New Jersey, especially for New Jersey, because I'm an advocate for New Jersey.
Got it. Now, you mentioned something really interesting. The age demographic, right?
Right.
There's like, do you know a particular number, like what's common and in these urban?
Off the head, I mean, you could look at the stuff on CDC website. They're trying to make it a public health issue. Guns in I guess in the inner cities. So they do statistic and the data on crimes committed in the inner cities and around and just the country period. And I'm not sure of the definite numbers of it, but the inner city, I believe that the ages was ranging between 15 and I want to say late 20s.
God damn.
Early teens into mid 20s.
There's definitely a problem when a 15-year-old is carrying out a weapon. Like, do you understand? You're like almost halfway finishing to high school in your 20s when you're supposed to go to college. You're that from 15 to 20, that gap space. You're supposed to be try to enjoy your life. Because after 25, now you become responsible and bills. What the fuck is a 15-year-old doing with a fucking gun? And how are you getting it? Why is it so accessible?
I was about to say that is very accessible. I had put a comment on my Facebook a couple of months back. I said, "Is it easier to purchase a firearm legally to the opposed of purchasing it illegally?" So I had all the criminals commenting and said that it's way easier to purchase illegally than it is to purchase legally.
Definitely,
and probably more affordable.
Way more affordable.
Now, Steven, you have like four boys, right?
I have five boys.
Like, imagine that. Like, Gabe is like 15, 16?
16. Gabe is 16 years old. And then Xavier's 18.
Yeah, look at that. His young boys could easily gain a firearm more easily than him.
Yeah, of course.
Ain't that fucked up?
Most definitely.
I think a lot of what goes on, like in the community, is what like these kids are learning from. you know, they're watching others and listening and trying to, you know, try to be like them as they get older. You know what I'm saying? Like, how do I say?
Rappers.
Yeah, they listen to music videos. These people,
these public figures.
Yeah, correct. So I mean, they're trying to live that lifestyle, and a lot of them aren't really about that lifestyle. Not everybody's like that. You know what I'm saying?
I feel like that plays a very small part in what goes on in the city. One, I say that because I commend you too, Steven, because you have 5 boys, and it seems like you're raising all 5 of your boys, and that's a great thing. You know what I'm saying? So they have someone to look up to not have to go to the streets and learn from their peers or the OGs of the neighborhood and things like that. They have their father, who's for the most part is an upstanding citizen and is trying to do the right thing, obviously, because you're trying to go through the right channels to get your purchasing permit and you're trying to fight for it. And, you know, that's a great thing. So they got you to look up to like, all right, well, dad, you know, he doing it the right way, you know, against adversity. You know what I'm saying? So they don't have to go to the streets, you know? So I think that's a big part. I feel like parents have to be held accountable and stop blaming social media, public figures, you know, that's famous, you know, because they're rapping about stuff that some of them never went through or even be around, you know. So
what's your thoughts, Nick? You're right there in your tight shirt, showing your muscles. You got them guns. I hope you got them registered, brother.
He's a free man hands. They ain't registered, but they free hands. But I agree. I agree with what Vaughn said. I agree with what Steven said, because yes, the music played a role, but also you gotta hold these parents accountable. And half the time, what we deal with in today's community is that you got kids raising kids. These parents aren't even parents no more. You know what I'm saying? Like, look, for me, for example, me growing up, yeah, I knew a lot of drug dealers. Like, I wasn't in no street life, none of that shit. I know these streets, but I've never been a part of it, never been in it. You dig what I'm saying? But I know it, and I know people. The OGs that I knew growing up, I'm only 32, by the way. The OGs that I knew growing up wouldn't even sit. Thank you, man. Look, but the OGs I knew growing up, they wouldn't even sit there and try to convince a young boy, like, yo, you need to go flip this. Or, young boy, you a nut if you ain't selling that shit. Young boy, you a nut if you ain't got a body and shit like that right now. You like 12, 13 and shit. I mean, there's an OG boy named Riz. One time, I'm just walking down the street, and I ain't gonna lie, I was a little weird sometimes. I mean, I was sitting there counting my steps as I'm walking and shit down the street. And he said, yo, youngin', don't ever do that. I said, what you mean? He said, no, man. When you walking, I want you to stand tall. You let the world know who you are. Not like as no a negative thing and other. You stand tall, be proud of who you are as you walk. He said, anytime you walking with your head down, it's a sign of weakness. It's a sign of that you just lost, confused. He said, no, you're a strong young black man. Keep it moving. You know what I mean? Keep your head up always. Like, and he will always run, even though he did his dumb shit, he would always want the kids to do better than what he was doing. And I knew a lot of OGs like that growing up. You know what I mean? It's not like that no more. Half these so-called OGs ain't even OGs. They ain't even earned that, whatever the case may be. But what I see nowadays is it's pathetic. And as you said, parents need to be held accountable.
Facts.
And you got parents that sit there, know their kids doing this, that, and the third, and then when their kids end up getting shot, look, I may sound like an asshole saying this, but they be the ones on the news. So, oh my God, they took my baby, and this, that, and the third. I'm like,
and yeah, they never worried. They never checked in or worried about them.
Right, and they didn't give a fuck because they knew what they was doing out here. But you be the one, be like, oh, that was my kid, this, that, and the third. Like, I had another situation before. I told this set of 6 dudes. They I don't know if y'all probably heard this or not, but it was like an iPhone scam shit going on.
Mm-hmm.
And basically groups of people was sitting there pretending that their iPhone locator was in your house. They trying to see if you was stupid enough
to open the door.
To open the door, let them in, and search your crib. I said, no, that's a recipe for disaster. And like these dudes, long story short, I said, I said, bro, I'm from North. I ain't stupid. I said, 6 motherfuckers, and it's just me. I told my little brother, I said, yo, go get the scrap. And they got mad because I said, bro, I'm going to tell you like this. I don't mind your mom being on TV saying you was a good son.
Mm.
And his eyes opened up when I said that. And that's when he decided to back down with the rest of his people. My brother came out with the scrap. He tossed him my joint. I said, like, what's up? Y'all got the wrong person.
Mm.
You know, I'm not no tough guy, but I'm always going to stand my ground. I don't care who you are.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And this shit like that right there. Now, if that would have went south, I promise you, his mom, all them other people's moms would have been on to, oh my God, they killed my kid and this. But your kids were setting up to rob me and break in my house.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you dig what I'm saying? I'm like, I don't know these people from a can of paint. And then that's when I found out after talking to the cops, I'm like, oh shit. And she was like, yeah, it's a thing going on. You ain't know about that? I said, no. I said, look, I'll be honest with you. No, I said, I just bought this crib. Like, you know what I mean? So I was like, nah, but you know, shit like that. And I honestly think as far as accountability, if your kid out there fucking up, you should go to jail too.
Now, let me ask, like we know that, you know, when it comes to poverty and all that, it's bad, right? But is it that bad that you have now literally teenagers, 15 years old, that are beginning to live life and see things clearly? Now, is it that bad they have to kill each other? Or is it something like hormones? Because I remember I was, 15, I'm not gonna say I was a great kid. I was a great kid, but your puberty and all that shit, and the hormones are going crazy. Like, is it that, or is it hormones, or is it's really that bad?
It's all right. So I would sit there and say it's like, okay, so when I was 15, I was chasing the girls. We was playing catch a girl, freak a girl and shit. We was playing manhunt and everything like that. We was doing that. Okay? That was the truth. You know, we had great childhood.
Well, that's what I used to kiss all the girls playing fucking hide and go seek, tag.
So
normal kid stuff. That's normal kid stuff.
Yes.
See, but what we had back then, they don't have now. That's one of the big things, and it also plays a factor in when school districts took away after school programs for so-called funding and things like that. I'm gonna be honest with you. Every kid isn't a bad kid. There are a lot of young kings and queens with a lot of potential out here, but every opportunity they get to do something great is stripped from them, especially in minority areas. And for example, like when I was in middle school, elementary school, middle school, we had programs like PEP, Penn State Educational Partnership Program. We had science club. We had gymnastics club. We had music. We had different avenues of things to take your mind off what's going on. And today's kids, those programs is hard to get now. For some reason, they say they can't afford it or this, that, and the third, but they don't have it no more. And when you take that away from kids that are already experiencing trauma in their own personal lives because they don't have a father figure, or they got a mom that's on drugs or a father that's on drugs, single mom not getting a job done because she can't fully understand what her sons need sometimes, and this, that, and third. So it's a lot of things that play into it, and I think it was done on purpose because, like, there's no way in hell with all the taxes we pay that you can't tell me that we don't have the funding for these after-school programs for these kids that's in minority cities. I remember there's one dude, good guy. I won't say his name. I don't want to put his personal business out there, so I just good guy. he used to love the after school program in science club. Like when I tell you, dude, seriously was smart. Now he had personal issues at home too. And that science pro, that after school science club was his getaway. That was his heaven, his peacefulness, his moment of clarity, basically, right? And when in the Philadelphia school district, when they start taking everything the fuck away, what I seen, even at a young age, what I seen, a lot of kids' attitudes changed, their behaviors changed. It affected them in so many ways, and that people don't even acknowledge that, you know. So it's just like I said, things were stripped away from kids that actually help kids get out of trouble, stay out of trouble,
Keep focus.
and focus on bettering themselves in life in general. You know, we could always sit there and say, well, yeah, you know, well, you shouldn't do this, you shouldn't do that, like, and whatever the case is. I said, we get that, but everybody's household is not the same. I could go home to a peaceful household. This person can go home to a household where there's a hole in the roof, mom on drugs. This other person can go home to actually that isn't even a home, could be just living in an abandoned house. You know, so it's so many different effects that they took away from like minority students in minority cities, whereas though it's crazy. And if I'm not mistaken, half these schools now that aren't performing good don't get all the needs that they need in general.
True. It's true.
It's facts.
It's true.
I know it because I've seen it. I've seen it firsthand. Like my eyes been open since I was a kid. I paid attention to a lot of things, so I know this stuff firsthand. I've seen it. My favorite teacher, I don't know if she alive or if she passed, rest in peace, but she was the best teacher because she went down to City Hall, the school district in Harrisburg, and yelled at them, marched at them. Her name was Miss King. She told y'all, if y'all don't give my kids back their music, give my kids back all their extracurricular activities, there's no way in hell that they should not be able to have this for these kids. Y'all gonna harm these kids to do good for them. Now you got to get certain partnerships for certain schools just to get some type of extracurricular activity. The school district really can't fund it no more for some reason.
Trying to save that money for the end of the year. That's that bonus money.
Pretty much.
Getting allocated to different things.
Mm-hmm.
It's getting put downtown in the downtown area for bike lanes.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. That's like the former student, the head of the school district, the chick. I think it was a chick years ago. She stole money from the school district, and you know they let her off with basically like a slap on the wrist. I'm saying like this. The only motherfuckers in jail. If you're doing more harm than good in my community, I don't want you winning at all. Period. I don't care who you are. You don't. These kids are our future. We adults now. We got to give these kids a shining light. Like, hey, man, you can do this. You can make it here. You don't have that much no more at all.
Right.
Facts.
It's crazy. You think it's beneficial for the government to sit back and watch how we kill one another, so then they'll step in and the work is easy?
Because the case.
Because I think about it, like I if you know me, you know I'm a mafia fanatic. They were killing among themselves. Then you go like on Gangland, you see all these gangs. They were killing one another among themselves. They're killing each other. Right? And, basically the cops would come in and just tape it up, get the notes, case closed most of the time. So is it like ignorance is an easy way to get what you want? And if you want the playing field empty, why not promote it?
Yeah.
There's a reason why these 15-year-old kids have guns. They're just kids.
Mm-hmm.
It's kids.
Why they have access to them too?
Mm-hmm. You ever heard of the term? And I'm pretty sure y'all. I'm gonna go on a limb and say y'all all saw this movie, but The Art of War.
Mm-hmm.
Great movie. Great movie.
Okay. All right. I love that movie. But the term "the art of war," like to get what you want and to get the reaction and the outcome you want, you do certain things. You plant certain seeds. And whereas though you ain't gotta do nothing. Like it's just another form of the art of war. Whereas though, okay, I'ma sit back. Let me say this right here, and then let me say this over here, and then let me say that over here. Now watch this one believe this one, and this one's gonna believe this one, and then they eventually clash.
Mm-hmm.
And you get the outcome you want because then you get to come in as the head honcho. And you're like, all right, well, yeah, we'll come in and sweep and we'll do this now. We'll do this now. Well, in return, we're going to do this and this and third.
Word. That's facts.
It's an agenda that's being pushed also. It's definitely an agenda that's trying to be pushed with the gun restriction and the crimes that's going on in the city. They most definitely know how to stop it, but they choosing not to. But they constantly trying to infringe on our Second Amendment right by creating all these laws to prevent us, the quote unquote good people from purchasing guns because they really don't want us to have weapons. They don't want us to be able to protect ourselves. So, they don't care that they're shooting up in the city. That is only news in the city. It's not making world news. That's not, that's not making world news. They know that shit's happening. But soon as a windy city in I don't know, Iowa or some shit like that get shot up. Now
well in Florida, right, Steven? That school in somewhere like a year ago or something like that.
In South Florida?
Yeah, they shot up the school.
Yeah, that was big out here. It's crazy. Like kids just walking in there and just pulling out guns and boom.
I mean, it's an emotional. It's an emotional toll on the children when they get bullied and harassed and whatnot. They don't know what to do. They just want it to stop.
What was the story?
A kid shot up.
I think
school.
he was being. I think he was being bullied. That's what it was, right? He was being bullied.
He was being bullied in the district of the Hillsborough County School District.
I got noti uno.
Okay. They did absolutely nothing. The parents tried to speak against it.
I'm gonna send that link to join the show.
Yeah, please do. I'm gonna join the show right now.
But yeah, it's one of those things that we, especially at a young age, we, at 15, we're all emotional. Everything is crazy. It's so chaotic. Hormones are fucking left and right. Like we don't know how to deal with them. And they don't teach us how to deal with them. Growing up when you're in an Hispanic house, it's mostly shut the fuck up and keep moving. You're all right. You're okay.
Yeah.
Chancleta. And then, as you get older, you still don't know how to deal with all these feelings and emotions.
That's why mental health is on the rise, man. Mental health is on the rise. We're learning that we're damaged, and the damage wasn't done intentionally. It was just done based off of history and what you call that. I can't think of the word, but it's like it's not done
generational.
Yeah.
Generational,
yeah. So it's like it's not done intentionally. They didn't realize the harm that they were doing, and that they were doing to themselves and as well as their kids. Because a parent should be able to identify when their kid is going through something at school. And my mom, granted, my mom was only raising me. I'm the only child from my mom's side, so she could hear it in my voice. I could call her like, "Hey, what's up, mom?" Like, she like, "What's wrong with you?" Like, what's going on? Off the rip, like, she no questions asked. Like, what's wrong with you? What's bothering
like,
you?
I know you. She's like, I know you. I can tell.
Right.
But it's also like, you know, financially, if you know, when you're stuck in a predicament and we're like, you know, the bills need to get paid, and like a lot of generations, when parents have a baby, they stick them straight up to daycare, months old, and then, you know, from there they grow into going to school system, and from there they grow up, and you, as a parent, you really don't have a good relationship with your kid if somebody else is taking care of them. So you're unable to identify those issues when you're feeling hurt, when you're happy. You really don't, because the parents here, all I know is I gotta get paid bills. You know, if I don't pay rent, we're gonna sleep outside. If I don't put food on the table, we ain't gonna eat. You know, if I don't pay the car insurance, you know, we're not gonna have a ride. If I don't have a health insurance, you know, how are we gonna get checked out? You know, it's
That's a deeper conversation.
Yeah.
Other than for just gun control and gun rights and stuff like that. That's like that's
No, we go deeper with it. It's something. It's something. It's something deeper.
America isn't structured for you to raise a household as a single parent. It's not structured like that.
No.
Nope.
You need both. You need both parents.
It's structured to be the capitalized. That's it.
Mm-hmm.
That's all it is. I love my country, but at the same time, we got a lot of weaknesses that aren't acknowledged or aren't pointed out, and things that can be easily corrected if, you know, people just start giving a fuck, you know, and meaning people, the damn government, you know. The government only needs us when they go down.
I also think, like, we do give a fuck, but it's about certain things. You know, it's not, sometimes we fail to give a fuck about the right things. Like, you don't make any sense?
Right.
Like, we also shouldn't put all the hope and efforts in the government's hand. Like, you shouldn't put your own efforts in somebody else's hands. You know, like you said it earlier today, Vaughn, like,
and your protection.
You're a bill, you know, what was the fuck did you say? You don't a big I don't know, I forgot what I was gonna say. Anyway, you can't rely on anybody else but yourself. You know, like, example, like, my son is autistic, right? You know, my constant battle with my wife is, you know, she reminds me he's autistic, and I understand that, but yet he needs to understand that you can't live your life that being a crutch. You know, you get what I'm saying? You got to live your life as you want it. You know, I may be autistic. I don't give a fuck. I'm going to set my own limits. If I can't walk, I want to walk. If I can't speak, I want to try to speak. You know, if I'm dying, I want to try to live the best that I can until that, you know, time to check out. You got to want more for yourself and continue to let people be, you know, we're basically letting ourselves be victims in other people's hands. If you got a chance to become a millionaire, invest in business, educate your fucking self.
Absolutely.
It's like all these musicians that sign their first contract for a deal, but don't fucking read the print and want to blame the record labels, right? You have a choice. And what we need to do is show the youth that they have a choice. You know, Hitler, the reason why Hitler got so big is because he invested in the youth and in ignorance. Once you have that, you're able to control them, especially if they're on their hormones. They're 15, enter puberty, they're fucking going crazy. Why not? Let me give you some people you can believe in, and watch how I burn this shit down. Why not? You can't do that to an old man. It's like the same reason why old men don't fucking go to riots. I'm too old to fucking do that shit. I'm too old to fucking run. I'm a grown ass man.
Nah, I might look if it's for the right cause. I might be there with a cane. Like, look, we going through. I might not move as quick, but I'll be like, it's for the right cause. I'm like, I want my rights back.
We get a cortisone shot.
Yep. Give me my cortisone shot. Oh man.
Shit, you know, one of the reasons I don't get I honestly don't get a gun is because I have a lot of anger. I'm an angry man. And I'm angry for all the right causes. I'm trying to raise a son. I'm trying to be a good husband. I'm trying to fucking progress in this fucking life. I want more for myself. You know, I get angry at myself because I want more. Yeah. It's not easy. I'm a fucking short Hispanic man and I'm fucking angry. You know why? Because I want fucking more. You know, I want more in life. I don't want to raise my son in a fucking urban fucking surroundings where they're killing one another and they're only fucking kids killing kids. Fucking, it's like in Colombia, fucking La Guerrilla, what they call it, right? Fucking scouting young babies. Fucking running around with AK-47s.
Look at Afghanistan. All these little kids running around with these
fucking 18-year-old, just sign your life. Boom.
Yeah. It's insane. I mean, eventually.
And those people don't got no mercy out there.
It's war.
Yeah, because that's all they're taught.
Yeah, sorry, animal sexual. I just read your hat.
Ammo sex. Oh man, ammo.
Like
That's dope.
That's dope.
I picked that up from Coleon Noir. He's a gun activist, lawyer, and I picked it up from his website. You got a lot of cool stuff on there. I'm gonna come out with my own. I'm gonna have to come out with my own.
Yeah, word up. Word up. Shit, I went the day before my birthday. I went to the shooting range, bro, and it's like,
why you ain't call me?
Shit, it was a surprise to me. I got called. I'm not gonna lie to you. Shit.
Oh, okay.
They invited me and I went, and you know, guns are nice, but that's a fucking expensive hobby, bro. That's an expensive hobby.
Yeah.
The ammo gun.
Price of ammo went up.
Yeah.
Price of ammo went up.
That's something. Get shot. Because it's supposed to save your ammo, use it for emergency, not shoot it.
No. Hey, I'm saving my ammo. My ammo's just sitting there collecting dust.
You gotta get permission. You gotta get permission.
I'm using it as paperweight.
You know, you could clean. You could clean it. You could clean your ammo. Just put it back in there.
Put it back in this box.
You're shining. Shine it.
Don't let the dust collect. No,
Nick, how long have you have your license? How long have you been a gun owner, to be exact? Shit, that's that long?
No, it's not that long. I'm just trying to remember. I want to get the exact. I'd say about 4 or 5 years now.
Vaughn, you?
Going on 2 years.
Nice. And Steven, how long you been wanting to be a gun owner?
Legally.
Well, as for this podcast, you're doing everything legal. Otherwise, I don't know.
Yes.
We are all legal here.
Yes.
Damn
it. Shoot, I've been wanting one for a while. I mean, 2-3 years now. Yeah, about 2.
No, you gotta get a license to have a bow and arrow.
No, not here. You can buy that.
Yeah.
You know, in the state of Florida, all you gotta be is 18 years old to own a rifle out here. Mm-hmm. But I don't know if they do the background check for a rifle.
What age do you have to be to chew tobacco?
Back then was 18. Now it's 21.
Now it's 21, right?
Now it's 21.
Some bitch go in the South. It's good, my good and shit.
Dude, I remember I was buying tobacco when I was 18. 18 years old. I was 21.
Now in Philly, and in Pennsylvania, like everybody got a gun. Like it's like more. There's more freedom.
Legally and illegally. Dudes, look, half these dudes on the street, they got them Jones illegally. Let me tell you what they got. Obviously, the scratched off serial numbers.
Mm-hmm.
Some of these dudes out here, they got the carbon fiber copy Johns, but they scared to use them. That PUA money put a lot of guns on the street, and a lot of people don't realize it, nor do they want to acknowledge it. Because half the motherfuckers that really ain't do shit with their lives, that's what they want to go grab. Go grab a piece real quick.
Let me ask you something. I don't mean to interrupt you, but I gotta ask this question because, like, How is it that these people got better guns than you, right? Got it at an affordable price.
Negative.
Negative.
You sure about that?
Because guess what? I'm gonna tell you why. I agree with him, but I'm gonna tell you why. Because half these dudes that got guns don't even know how to shoot shit. First and foremost. So I seen a dude that end up getting caught by the cops and everything, legal gun and all that shit. Nigga shot that shit, shot the wrong way, nearly should have shot him dead himself too, because he didn't know what the fuck he was doing. Yeah, he did. He automatically got the automatic fire just for having an illegal firearm, wasn't registered, you know, shooting in the city and everything like that. So, no, half these dudes out here don't even know how to shoot.
You're like 5 to 10 if you get a caught with illegal.
From my understanding, it's an automatic fire with
illegal
firearm.
Oh, with illegal firearm.
Illegal firearm, yeah.
So if you have your license to carry and whatnot, and you're gonna whatnot, and you get stopped by the police, what is the proper way how to handle that situation?
You want to go first, Ron? Or you
I think Nick.
Oh, you don't tell them I don't got a gun.
I think Nick answered because I'm not able to carry in the state of New Jersey. We're not a free state. So
all right. So I got pulled over by the cops a couple times. All right. So and they was just fucking with me to pull me over. You know, I guess I look suspect, whatever.
They probably saw your muscles. Like, he don't got a license for them gun. His shirt too tight. So what the fuck is going on here?
So his shirt too tight. But nah, I got pulled over a couple times. Now, if I'm not mistaken, it's Penal Code 118, and when you get your concealed carry permit, also it tells you it's highly advised you let a law enforcement officer know that you have a concealed weapon, but you don't have to. You're not legally obligated to.
Yep.
Right? So, with that being said, if I know a cop is going to run my license, when they say license registration, they tell me why they pulling me over. I mean, dude said I didn't stop at the stop sign, but I did, but he didn't see the other car go by him and block him his view to see me making a complete stop. But he got mad because I didn't tell him. And I said, well, technically by law, I don't have to. I said, I'm just advised to. And he said, oh, so you're a fucking wise ass. So some cops get anal about it. Some cops, but just to avoid the situation, it's best just to let them know. But let them know in a way where as though, because, you know, some cops are superficial. They think they big bad and shit like that. Just let them know in a way where as though they don't feel threatened. You ain't got to feel threatened either. It's kind of hard to do that because you don't just go to somebody like, hey, look, I got a concealed weapon. You know what I'm saying?
You have a card? You guys have like cards or something?
Yeah, have a card. Yeah, like concealed weapon, got the Philadelphia Police logo right on the back and everything. So, but when they run your name, it tells you I have a weapon.
That's your concealed carry. Don't mean that you have it on you.
Yeah, but basically in their eyes, he has a weapon. That's the way they're going to look at it. They'll take it at that way. So, man, one time I had like 4 guns in my car. I'm not going to lie.
Damn.
Look, it wasn't on no crazy stuff. It was that I was in the process of moving and everything. So I had them all in there because, you know, I didn't want nobody else moving my stuff and things like that. And I was trying to break it down to the guy. He said, "No, man, we got to check all these guns, make sure they registered." I said, "Look, I got all night." You know, I said, "Just moved in a new crib. I got all night, bro. You can do that." But some like you just want to let them know. Like, even though you don't have to, but just let them know, just to avoid the drama that comes with it. Because I'm not going to say every cop doesn't know the law, but there are a lot of cops that don't know certain laws and don't know certain codes, and that could be wrong, and which could lead to incidental shootings or like, you know, oh, I feel threatened for my life type of situations because you had a weapon, but, you know, you didn't tell them. Or even though we already know Philando Castle, that dude should be alive, but you know, it could lead to a situation like that too. So even though you don't have to tell them, it's best you tell them anyway, just for the simple fact, try to avoid the most damaging consequences possible.
So you got to also remember that once you tell them, they have the authority to take you out of your vehicle now to secure your weapons. So as a gun owner, it's funny you say that they don't know their laws, but we gotta know our laws as well. So you know the penal code and everything. So I could tell you already on it. You know what I'm saying? So that's a good.
I gotta know.
Well, he had you weren't. We had started before you joined us. He had a situation and he was at a shootout and he got shot in the head.
Who was shot in the
head? My boy Nick.
I got a bullet in my head, bro.
God bless you, man.
Yeah, I got a bullet in my head. It was in self-defense. The situation could have been handled way better. Like you know how some dudes, they let their woman pipe them up, get their emotions out. It went from that to this and to bang, and then I'm like, fuck that bang, you know?
Right.
So, you know, but yeah, like, it's crazy, but, you know, I'm just blessed to be here.
God bless you. Here with us.
God bless you, man.
Right, really. God bless you. What state did that happen in? If you don't mind.
Well, I'm about to tell you, like, look, I'm going to say, I know Pennsylvania is state, but in Philadelphia, we consider Philadelphia a state. So I'm going to say the state of Philadelphia.
Oh, okay.
But no, it happened in Philly, though. It happened in Philly. No, I still got the pictures from it and everything. I still got the screenshot showing me where the bullet at in my head and everything like that.
God
you know,
damn. God
and the thing is, and
it's because you hard headed, right? That's fucking right.
No, you're right, because my thing is, with that situation, I wish I handled it a little bit different. But what dude did, because it basically turned from a hit and run to a shooting.
Right.
You know? So my whole thing is, I'm like, I'm tired of a lot of people getting away with a lot of shit in general. Like, half these cases are still open and this, that, and third. And I'm like, not only did the person hit my truck and try to run, but also try to hit me with their car too. So I chased them down, got their license plate, got a picture of them and everything. I'm like, all right, bet. And I said, bro, I'm not even worried about you no more. I'll see you in court.
Right.
And that's when it escalated from there. Then the chick saying this, that, and the third, whatever the case may be.
Bro, remind me when it comes to parking, I ain't park. You show me your car, and I'm not gonna park nowhere near you. I don't want that sauce. I don't want that beef.
I got a driveway now. I'm good. You can park in the driveway. You be straight. But yeah, that happened. It sucked. But it got handled. I gotta go to court next week. It got pushed back because of the whole flood in Philly and everything. Like, I don't even live in Philly no more, but I have, since it happened in Philly, you know.
Right.
I mean, yeah. So
good luck with that. Good luck with that.
Bro, that's crazy, bro.
See, the thing is, I did all the cop work for him. There's so much proof and of what happened and everything else. It's basically a case.
How long were you hospitalized? Like, to use memory? Like, well, obviously you didn't lose memory. You good?
No, I didn't lose memory. The thing is, once they realized it's pointless of taking the bullet out, as long as it wasn't going to move or anything like that, and just basically just let it take its course, I'm fine. You know. So they ended up letting me go, I'd say later on that night. Yeah, I mean, because look, the thing is, it's in here, but
so you're telling me you're on some Chuck Norris shit?
Yeah, Chuck Norris. Look like it didn't like skim on my head. It went in and stood there. Like, you know what I
wow.
mean?
I get
So
buried. Like,
thank God for this big ass head I got. You know, the doctor was like, "Yo, your head actually helps you." He said, you know, because if my head was in a different position, like it would have been fatal.
Yeah.
You
It
know what I
was,
mean?
yeah.
So, and the worst part was also to see what pissed me off was that I'm not gonna lie. Well, I'm not gonna say this. I'll say it off. I'm not gonna say that. But I did have my daughter in the car with me.
oh,
Oh,
bro,
That's what
breaking my
made it
heart, man.
worse. And when I say I cried, it wasn't like a crying, sobbing. No, it was like a
Nah,
war cry because in
yeah,
my mind I was ready to hurt whoever got in my way because I was like, I don't care you shot at me. My daughter was in the car. That was my issue. I
Right.
said, because if anything happened to my daughter, I would lose it. You know, as my firstborn. You dig what I'm saying? I'm a single father. I've basically been raising my kids by myself for a minute. So I don't take that lightly. You know what I'm saying? And I'm like, that's my daughter. You know, so like, and then I was mad, because the cops had to take my other gun for ballistics and everything like that. And I still ain't shit back yet. And I probably won't get it back.
You ain't
know,
getting it back
mm-hmm.
no time soon, brother.
I ain't getting it back probably
No
a
time
year today.
soon.
And that was my favorite nine. I said, I love this 9mm right here. I said, but I did get me another one. And
You
the
were
cops, they
able
were
to
cool.
you were able to make another purchase
Yes,
with
I
being
was.
in the incident.
Yep. Yes, I was. If see what the detective did, he gave me his card, but I waited for to pick up my gun license back and everything. And I asked him, I said, "Yo, is it cool for me to go get another gun?" And I said, "Because my other guns I got, but they're not concealable.
Carrying guns. Yeah, they're not carry
Yeah, they're
guns.
not concealable. So like, I don't want to be walking around with the big thing on it, like I'm like, you know what I mean? I'm not Rambo.
Right.
Um,
No, it is Chuck Norris, bro. You get shot in the head and you keep moving and like nothing happened.
yeah. So I was able to get another gun, and so far I truly love this one. I bought an FMK, just for the time being, and so far I love this thing. It's not bad at all. Got a nice kick to it. I enjoy it. But yeah, I was able to. Thank God for that, because I thought I wouldn't be able to, and
Right.
then
Right.
I ain't want to carry my 22 around. That's my little baby just for fun, but I didn't want to carry my 22 around.
Right.
Like so. Yeah.
What type of insurance do you have? Do you have a USCCA?
Say that one more time.
What type of carry insurance do you have?
I actually don't even have carry insurance.
Join USCCA tonight.
I
didn't even know that.
I would do that. I'm a
Go on to that website.
I'm a pretty busy guy. Some things I've set aside to do, and I'm like, shit. And like you just reminded me. Someone told me about that before, and I
Yes.
said, because years ago, I didn't know actually you could get stuff like that. I said, wait. I said, you can? I said, wait a
Yes.
minute. I'm gonna definitely do that. I'm gonna make sure I do that tonight.
Do it tonight. Look at the website. Look at the different packages that they have on there. I was looking at it for myself because I was like, I hate New Jersey because, it's I forgot the exact term for it, but you can't, if you have a means to escape, they want you to escape if you have in the case of a home invasion. So they want you to escape somehow, some way. They want you to get out of there. If someone breaks into your home, they want you to leave. So I was like, in the event that I can't, because I have a whole family, like I have a fiance, I have 2 kids, I have 2 little kids, and one way in,
with all that.
I can't escape with all of that. So I'm going to defend my house, my castle. So
You should.
I was trying to look up and see if USCCA if I was allowed to get it in New Jersey, and they don't have it for the state of New Jersey because I think it's only strictly and specifically for carry. So I just wanted to have insurance. God forbid, like, you know, I always tell people, like, when I talk about guns, they're like, yo, you gun crazy. I'm like, nah, I'm not. I like guns. Like, I like the science behind it.
I love it. That's good. I like the science behind it. I love going to the gun range. I got personally invited to an outside range, and the guy, he had his own course in the Upper PA. Dope guy. He allowed me to come out there, the AR-15s and the AKs, and he actually had a machine gun like station, and I got to shoot that, and I was like, yo. When I thought I felt like my body was going to break just for the first time shooting, I said, "Oh my god!" And I'm going like, doo, 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 doo. Like it's fun. It's an adrenaline rush, but like with common sense though.
Yeah,
you know.
I'm when I've gone to the gun range, I get like anxiety and nerves just because like I feel like I feel the sense of responsibility to be safe. You know, I'm worried about like I'm not being safe. You know, like I'm overthinking it, I guess.
Well, my first time to the gun range, crazy part is I was dressed up too. And the dude was like, bro, where you work? I need to dress like you. I had the whole little suit on and everything. I just came from a business meeting, and it didn't go as I planned. So I was like, you know what? I need to blow some steam off. So I was like, I ain't been to this gun range. So I said, let me go to this gun range. And da 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 da. And when I went there, I was hesitant. And the guy, I said, look, man, just give me a crash course, this and the third, because even though you know about guns, it's always best to me, to go over certain things if you haven't done certain things in a while. You're rusty with it. Yeah, so basically it's fresh again. So I'm just like, he showed me things, man, look, I just went there, and I just thought about it, man, fuck this shit. Boom, boom. And like after the first two, I'm like, keep going. Like, and it was just fun. Like it's to be honest, for me, it's like a therapy. It's a stress reliever, to be honest.
What about you, Steven?
I apologize. I had to put my son down.
I haven't been to the gun range in a long time. It's been years for me. I want to go back.
You better get your pointing your gun up before you get your license.
Steven, will Florida allow you to go to the gun range?
Yeah, absolutely. You can go.
So they allow you to do that?
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't think you need a background check for.
No, not at all. No,
because in Philly, when you go to the gun range, they do run your ID, and if you got you got any warrants or you got a certain record or something like that prevents you from even touching a firearm, they'll pull it up and they have the right to arrest you and this, that, and third. And I found that out. I was like, oh shit, I ain't even realize that.
Let me tell you something. In Florida, there's a lot of people carrying here. There's tons of them. I got friends that I work with on the side, and they take their guns with them, put them in their lockers, and then continue your day. And you wouldn't even think that this person would have a gun. But everybody has guns out here. Everyone carries. I'm just that one guy that doesn't carry.
Baby, don't worry. I'm okay.
She said, "Don't worry, I got you."
Pure pressure. You feel pure pressure. All right, so like, and I want you guys to each want to give your opinion on in what sense, like, how can we, when it comes to gun violence, how can we help with mental health? Now, how can we unite? How can we share the knowledge? It's very important.
Well, are you talking about as far as you being able to have access to a firearm with mental health issues?
No, more along those like how can we help one another understand that you have to have the right state of mind to carry this because it's a serious thing. You can cause
Oh,
harm to
the
yourself.
right mental capacity to be able to
Yes.
go out and carry every day.
Yes.
Um, that's one of the big topics in that industry, because they're blaming everything on mental health now. So now they're trying to crack down on uh, harder gun laws and background checks uh, for people to actually purchase their firearms in certain states like Florida, like Texas, those free states that, and Pennsylvania, that have looser gun laws than New Jersey, New York, California, different states like that. So the mental health check uh, portion of you being able to purchase a firearm, uh, the anti-gun lobbyists feel like it's not strenuous enough. So they try to put more and more restrictions on gun laws that ultimately cripples, law-abiding citizens like Nicholas, like Steven, like myself, who want to go and purchase a firearm. But you have this background check that you have to go through in order for you to be able to purchase your firearm. And some people feel like it's too long. What if I need it right now? What if I know I'm in imminent danger because my ex-boyfriend or my ex-girlfriend is threatening me, and I need something for protection. If I can't carry, at least at my house, I should be at least be able to protect myself in my own home. So I think mental health is so broad when it comes to being able to carry and purchase a firearm. It's kind of hard to pinpoint it because you could go through a mental health check.
Mm-hmm.
Cops go through vigorous training, and military personnel go through vigorous training. And as you can see, and by the way, I don't feel like there's a war on black men with police. I'm gonna just say that right now.
You ready for that comment?
The percentages don't make sense when you look at the data. But anyway,
please elaborate on that.
Okay. I had this discussion with one of my friends that's a police officer. I don't want to say my cop friend because he was my friend before he became a law enforcement officer. So we have these discussions and we pull up the data, we pull up the information. I can't remember off the top of my head. I wish I would have jotted this down before I came on to the show. But a lot of these police shootings, like I said before, you have to take accountability. And I'm not saying that everyone was guilty. Not everyone deserved to die, and not everyone was deserving to get shot. But people's favorite topic was back when it was happening was Breonna Taylor. So that I like my best friend. We had arguments like we wasn't speaking to each other over this case, and my friend that's a police officer has inside information on that case. And he was like, he just broke it down to me like this. When you watch those police shows and they have a board up and it says suspect and stuff like that. Like she was a part of an investigation that they had going on. Not to say that she deserved to die, not to say that they deserved to run in her house and none of that, but she was in an investigation. So the story that they went into the wrong house, even the fact that the person that they were looking for was already in custody, she was still a part of an investigation.
I know, go get mine.
So to circle back to what we talk about with the mental health part, it's so broad because, like I said, police go through all of this training, but they have accidents. Despite their training and despite the background check that they go through. Military, the guy in Dallas a couple of years back, and he wrote a whole, letter, addressing basically the bullshit that he was dealing with. And he went off, started shooting cops in
I remember
in
that.
Dallas. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, you can't say, you know, that's why I asked you, do you mean as far as the background check to actually purchase a firearm as far as mental health? Or are you just saying this the mental health crisis, period? You know, the mental capacity to be able to carry.
Let me
and
elaborate on
operate a
that.
weapon.
When I mention this, like I mentioned in a way, and I apologize if I'm not explaining myself correctly, but when I say like it's more on the responsibility, you have a responsibility.
Right.
You know, you have an obligation now. You can just, you know, now that you carry an arm, you have permission to carry, whip it out because you want to whip it out.
Right.
You know, or
so you gotta know your laws.
You gotta be responsible with that shit.
Right.
You know, a lot of people who have firearms think they're high and mighty. When it's not the case. And those are the people that give a bad image to people who actually want to have gun license to protect their family.
Right. It's hard to make that decision, man. Currently, my fiance is trying to get into that field, further her career in law enforcement. And you know, like I said, I have conversations with my friend that's a cop, and I ask her, you know, certain questions like, are you ready to handle that responsibility? Because you know, not only are you a public figure and a help and an aid to people, but knowing when to do and to do what in certain situations. And you can't use because you're a female and the person is 300 pounds and I'm 5'4" and, you know, 180 pounds, you know, reason for me to shoot this person. No, you have, you know, even though you're a cop, you still have to have, you know, a plausible reason for you to draw your weapon and use it. You know what I'm saying? And I comments, you know, everybody isn't blessed with that.
Word.
You know, but she's very smart and intelligent, and thankfully she's in a field where you learn talk down versus take down. You know what I'm saying? In the field that we're in, you know, we don't have guns. You know, so our first line of defense is our verbal, is our directives. You know, and I feel like police lose that in the process of becoming an officer. You know, your first line of defense, your first lines of communication is actually communicating, like verbalizing something, a directive to someone. You know, and if you have to pull your weapon to maintain order, then that's one thing. But knowing when to actually use it is a different thing. So, you know, the mental health issue as far as firearms is so vast, and you know, it's hard to try to put a cap on it.
True. Nick, any thoughts?
Yeah, kind of agree with Vaughn. I may agree to disagree on certain things. But overall, we need a universal understanding. And what I mean by that is certain gun advocates that prevent, well, actually, no, let me correct that. Certain gun advocates that actually, because of their certain stances, help have mental people having guns. And it's because certain things they don't want to bend. Like, from my understanding, you're not allowed to study certain things with guns. There's an article, a video about Obama, and he was having a conversation with a guy. It's something on YouTube. You'll find it if you type in Obama on gun violence. And he was talking to the guy, and he broke down to the guy. He said, "Technically, we're not even allowed to sit here and study certain things about it." So it needs to be some type of universal understanding. We all want our gun. We want to protect ourselves. We want to have a hobby. That's one of our hobbies. We love doing that. That's understandable. But also, I'm the type of person, like, yeah, I may be a gun advocate, but also, I don't want no damn fool having a gun. I just don't want anybody having a gun for the simple fact I get it's their right. But half these dudes and chicks are out of their minds, or for the simple fact that, like you said, people get the gun I'm all hotty mighty, bang bang. You know what? I can't get my way. You gonna give me my way? This, that, and the third. So it's and to be honest, I think every human being has some type of insanity in them. To be honest with you, if that sounds crazy, don't laugh. But we all have some form of insanity with us. Okay, and at any given moment, whether we are the good guy or the bad guy, we can just snap. So it's almost like it'll be a never-ending argument, but there are certain measures that can be taken to prevent most of this shit. That's like with crime. We can't prevent every last crime. It's not possible. But we can put certain measurements in place to control it, to leave it at bay. But to just deter it from happening. You can't stop everything from happening because unfortunately it's part of life. So if we build that bridge of communication where it's like, hey, you're the tomatoes, you're the tomatoes. We're gonna sit here, this is what we want, and this is what we want. We're gonna come together and make that shit work so we all can shut the fuck up. Because it's a never ending, it's almost like it's a never ending argument. It's one person with this point, one person with that point. But the thing is, there should be some type of things in place that shouldn't be restricted as far as a person that's already deemed mentally ill should have no access to firearms, period. I don't care who you are. If you're mentally ill to the point where as though we know that, you're not suitable to have a weapon because you might just snap more than with the average person, then I think you shouldn't have that. Some people like, what was there? Well, it seems like they skip them. It seems like they skip them.
See,
there are loopholes. My thing is, what I noticed, there are certain loopholes that need to be fixed, and that's the things. That's another thing that no one seems to want to address. Certain loopholes. There's even loopholes with background checks when you go to a different state and everything. Whereas though, if you got a felony here, I forget what I used to do background checks, but I forget what state if you want to. You move there and everything, did a background search from there. Because you're in that state or something like that, it almost wouldn't show up the previous history what you did in that other state sometimes. And like, because there's certain loopholes with these laws and certain things, even in the amendment and constitution, there are loopholes that a lot of people get around or get over on, which makes it worse for everyone. So I think if we just make a universal agreement, make it to where as though, all right, well, look, man, come to the table with this, you come to the table with that. Let's just make it happen. All right, we know this happened, we know that happened, but let's figure out some type of rule where as though our guns are getting taken and certain people can't get them, period. And then also, like I said, there's loopholes in mental health too. There's people that are deemed medically insane that are out on the streets regularly. In general, some of them are homeless folks. Some of them are just people that just work the average job. You don't know.
Right. Yeah. Steven, you got any thoughts?
No, I mean, I agree with both Vaughn and Nick. Everything that they've said. They just said everything they had to say. No, I really don't. How about you, Dio?
Man, it's a lot. It's a lot. It's something scary, but also serious. There's a lot of passionate side on we should have our guns. We shouldn't have our guns. And it's difficult to really tell who has. If it's not physical, you can't really see it. It's hard to tell you have a mental imbalance because there's fucking people that's where they know how to act.
Yeah.
That's why I apologize once again. I know I said this before, but like white people, why do you think they're gold standard? Because in the street when they walk, they know how to act. And when they're in their house, they're batshit crazy.
I agree.
It's very it's very difficult. And then the universal agreement, which I'm 100% behind you of, but if it's not beneficial to somebody, it's not going to work.
That's
true.
That's why it's always a constant thing.
At the end of the day, it's a business. The more somebody tells you you can't do something, the more you want it.
Right.
Right. So the gun business is a money business. Yeah, I don't care if you can't. It's all about insurance. Well, my insurance, if these are procedures to get the gun. It's insurance policy to make them feel okay to sell guns. That's all it is. Doesn't necessarily mean somebody follows it or believes in it, or you can do anything about it. So everybody has a different agenda. I really don't care for guns. I think they're beautiful. I think they're nice. I think they're dangerous. But that's not my forte. That's to each his own. My shit. That's why I went into doing mixed martial art jiu-jitsu. I love that shit. I grew up in an environment where, we're gonna boast this out. We're gonna fuck one another up, and then after we're up, we're gonna shake each other's hand. We're gonna walk away.
You gotta say error. You gotta say error, not environment. Error.
Error.
The error that you was raised in. That error that you was raised in. That's you come from that.
No. It's an environment still. It's an environment still.
That's not in all cases.
In my environment, it's still an environment. All right.
You still
as my guess, I'll do you the favor. My era.
Yeah, error.
Right? My era. Okay? You got it.
Look, my era too. Look, I came up. You supposed to fight, shake hands, keep it moving.
It wasn't.
If dude didn't want to fight you, you let it go, and like old heads used to sit there and just squash it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So,
it wasn't too.
Like you don't want to fight, leave it alone. They want to force you to fight.
It wasn't too a year ago and difficult situation I had here at my house. Then I learned to accept that not everywhere you go is the same. Living over here is a different animal,
Yeah.
It's not such thing as the the manly thing of screw up, get fucked up or fuck up and shake your hand and walk away. There's no more shit of that.
That shit don't even exist anymore, man.
Yeah.
Everybody's quick to pull one out.
Yeah, and
because these dudes can't fight no more. Or if they do fight and you whoop their ass, they come back either to shoot your ass because you're gonna embarrass the shit out of them.
Yeah. So it's but it's something to think about when it comes to owning a firearm. Safety. But in all cases, try I think the best thing you can do is remind people the responsibility of having a firearm. That's the best thing you can do. I mean, remind each and every day that you got that, you have a responsibility. Just because you have it now, you can misuse it. Because like most of you guys, kids at home, toddlers, you leave that misplaced. They picked up a gun and God forbid something happens, which has happened in history. So,
happened recently.
Yeah, look at that. So the responsibility of that, it's immense. All right. So that's why it's hard to talk about mental health. Like you said earlier, they're using it constantly in the news. But yeah, we're suffering mental health with so much shit that we're going on a daily basis, from a happy job, happy marriage, fucking, unhappy kids, trying to give them the best support you can. There's really things that cause mental health, regardless of somebody shooting. That's just somebody, who's trying to prove something.
I got a question for you guys. What do you guys think about teaching teenagers how to shoot properly. What do you guys think about that?
I'm all for that.
Me too, as well. I'm all about it.
I'm all for it. And matter of fact, if my motto is, and it's probably due to the people that I watch who's influential to me. If they're strong enough to pull the trigger, then I'm gonna educate them on it.
Absolutely.
I agree.
I agree.
Yeah, I could agree with that.
Especially if they're in the house with you.
Yeah, if they're in the house, like for example, like my daughters know I have guns. I showed them each gun. That way, and my daughter is 11, my other daughter is 8. I show them each gun, not just to say, hey, this look here. No, I show them to let them know that hey, this is here. These are not toys. This is not something. This that, and third. Like I have a whole lockbox for it and everything like that, and they're up. But my daughters, I got it installed in their heads to the point where as though they know, like, don't go in that room, don't go looking in this, don't this that and that. Even though it's all locked away and everything like that, and I'm the only one that has the code for it. Like you can't, they couldn't even figure it out even if they try. But overall, yeah, I think it'd be cool.
Is this something like
it's better to know than not know?
Is it something like when you as a parent trying to get your firearm, or is it something like schools will teach?
No, I think that's individual household thing that should be taught in the house, because school is for school. You know, you have it's a time and place for everything, and not unless you educating them on what happened at Sandy Hook and all these other shootings that happen at school or something like that. But other than that, I feel like that's something that the parents should be teaching to the kids, especially if they have guns in the house, weapons in the house, any type of weapon in the house.
I think if you're a parent, they should develop a course that you have kids of certain age, that in order for you to get a gun permit, you have to take your kids, if they live with you, to get a certification. So they're aware, to make it a family thing.
I don't think that it should be something mandated. I think that they have courses where you could go out there. I'm not sure with every state, but I know for New Jersey, you could get your hunting license at the age of 10, at the youngest age of 10, I believe. Dang. If I'm not mistaken. And with your hunting license, you're able to shoot, I think, like rifles and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. So don't definitely quote me on it. I'm just trying to go off the top of my memory, but you're able to go out there with your kid and have that experience. My favorite thing is I think you liked it one time, D.I.O. When I put up the family with the guns, like the black family, and they all had like automatic weapons and stuff like that.
I've seen that picture.
And
love it.
People were outraged like about that picture. Not my people, but like just reading like comments underneath that.
People in general, they was outraged. Yeah.
And it's just like, my friend, he's a close friend of mine. He's been incarcerated and stuff like that. Very smart, intelligent guy. He likes when I post stuff like that, because it gets people talking and it ruffles people's feathers. So the people that he works for, the white people that he works for, they teach their kids as young as they can.
There you go.
If they're strong, like I said, if they're strong enough to pull the trigger, teach them.
Yeah.
Teach them about every single gun you have in your house and how to use it properly and the safeties of that firearm.
Facts. I rather, if that is not accessible or anything, I rather have the school system start educating students on the laws.
The laws, okay.
And when it comes to simple stuff like gun violence, which is something common and recently happening. Because a lot of children, as people, just make fucked up choices and don't know the consequences. I bet you if you know the consequences, you're gonna stop doing your shit. You get what I'm saying?
False.
Nah, I have how to believe. Shit.
I'm
Man,
I have to disagree
I
with
guess
you.
I guess I speak for myself.
I have to disagree with you.
It's 50-50
Yeah.
because it depends on the person's mindset and their level of understanding.
It's different when you know you got to do what you got to do. It's different. That's acceptance.
I mean, like for me, I grew up in a hood, but I didn't become a thug. I didn't become this, that, and the third as what you expect. And part of due to the reason is just my level of understanding at a young age. I'm like, when I start seeing shit and I start paying attention to shit and I saw what it led to, I'm like, I ain't doing that shit. I'm like, no. So like but some people it's a rush. Some people are just born bad, and it's fucked up to say, but that's just the truth. Some people want to be just a kingpin. Some people just want to do that. That's why you have certain shit you have nowadays.
Oh, yeah,
So I think it's the level of understanding and the concept of the mindset when it's first approached to you. Like some people, you got to go through it to learn. Some people just look at that shit like, hang on, I don't want nothing to do with no shit like that. So it just depends on the level of understanding, and because sometimes even people that had the best parents in the world that tried to tell them to stay away from this and stay away from that, try not to do
Listen,
this.
man,
It's still
I will say this much. If schools would teach kids the consequences of like what do you call that shit? The consequences of like if you don't pay your child support, there'll be no I tell you, everybody will use protection.
Word, man.
You heard? Shit, the consequences. Shit, everybody use protection. Every kid will be celibate. That's some scary shit.
That goes into the household too, man. Teaching values.
It goes.
You gotta value yourself.
That's another topic, bro.
That's a totally different topic.
That's another topic, bro. Because
that'd be another good conversation. That'd be another
because the crazy part, we live in a society is so gray now. You don't know what's right or wrong because it's always feelings, and if you do something, you might hurt somebody's feelings, right?
Yeah.
So that's
like I said, I just think it's a generational thing. I don't think that, not to go off topic, but I don't think that it's done intentionally for, the education that we get or the lack of education that we get on sex education in our households. I don't think it's done purposely. It's just a generational thing. Like, I ain't ready to talk to you about this. Why not? If they ask,
they're scared.
That's a backwards way of thinking. And it's counteractive to what your child is asking you. That's just with anything. Period. Like you said, with the mental health. With kids going into schools and shooting up school and stuff like that. You have to pay attention to your kids. You can't just exit them off because they're a kid. Like, oh, you don't know what you're talking about. Like, no,
and treat them like they're stupid. That's basically what it is.
Treat them like that. My 3-year-old daughter came to me the other day.
Yeah, I know. Steven's wife be putting her boys right there. Boom, 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 boom. Tell them what it is.
Yeah,
right. That's a strong mommy right there.
Yeah,
got to.
Yep.
Got to.
She's
got to be prepared for those questions.
I tell them the truth, and I don't hold nothing back.
We got another special guest and behind of the cameras. All right, guys. It's been a pleasure. Thank you for joining me.
Thank you for having me.
We have to do this again. It's been very fun.
This is enjoyable. I think this warrants for another episode, D.O, but that's completely up to you.
Part 2.
And the reason why I say that is because you can't just talk gun talk, because gun talk leads into more things. Like, it factors into so much that we try to keep it on one specific thing, but it can't, because you just can't, because there's so many other factors that go into this. Like Vaughn, you mentioned about, like, it's a business. Everybody, we all agree with that. Yo, it's a business, it's a money thing. It's this, it's that. It's about the household and everything else. Like, it pulls. It's like, you remember in school when you sat there, had the outline, John, the paragraph, and you got the bubble. You put gun talk right there, but then you got the line with the bubble right here, the line with the bubble right there.
Like the spider web or something like that.
Yeah, it's like a whole spider. That's what this concept, the concept of gun talk leads to, because it's so many things that just factors into it, to the point where, as though, like we said, it's like almost a never-ending conversation.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you this much. Once we go off camera, let's all schedule for part 2.
Most definitely.
I'm with it, bro.
Down, man. Down.
I would enjoy that.
For now, let's start with Steven. Steven, tell the people they can find you. They can call you. They can obtain your service.
You can call me at 813-507-3559 or email me at aquanomicspowerwash@gmail.com, or you can go to my website, aquanomicspowerwashllc.com. I'm in Tampa, Florida.
We're on Instagram.
And we're on Instagram now.
Vaughn, Aquanomics LLC on Instagram.
Aquanomics PW.
There you go. Vaughn, tell the people they can find you. Hit you up.
You can find me on Instagram at What Triggers You. That's WATTTRIGGERS, the letter U, 2.82 on Instagram. Or you can follow me on my personal page. That's big_green 201. That's my personal page. You can find me on there. Like I said, I push gun safety, man. That's what I do, man.
There you go.
Gun safety, gun education. That's it.
My boy Nick, let's go. Where people can find you?
You can find me on Instagram, Nick Espinosa _215. I act, I install floors, I model here and there. Ladies, strictly ladies, yo, y'all can hit me up. 838-791-0. What's up?
I'm gonna have to dub that number, y'all. I want it calls. Go check out his podcast, Views on Anchor. He's coming up with his own podcast show very soon. Wait for that to job. Yeah, thank you guys for joining me. Shout out to Melissa Guerrero, who's right there in the back. Thank you for joining us as well. Gentlemen, it's been a pleasure. We have to square up for part 2. Have a good night.